All right, so we're live. 90,000 word novel as fast as possible. Challenge day 13, Sunday morning. Not even 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm done with my writing for the day. Yes. So, yesterday in day 12's video, you all know I was helping a friend move, and that impacted my ability to write, as did on Friday, as has on Sunday. So, the theme of this challenge is constantly documenting this journey. Is it possible? Yes, absolutely. How possible? Well, that's the whole point of this challenge, is for me to show me what can happen. You can't know your capabilities unless you test yourself, unless you push through adversity, push through exhaustion, push through stress, push through all the mental excuses we have why we can't do something, all of those things. So, in context, I said yesterday, or I said on Friday, it was going to be slower. I'm feeling the burnout on the novel. I got to throttle back a little bit to refresh. But with this personal issue of, helping a friend move, I'm not physically feeling that refreshment. I sit here all day, every day, uh, typically, right? Writing like a number of you do, whether you're a full time writer or you have a desk job. So when we do those physical things, it really can have an impact on us. So I that. I mean, it took me forever to get up and get going today because everything is just so sore. So I mentioned we're going to have lower word counts, and I followed that through. Today's word count goal was 3,000 words. I started at 6:30 in the morning on a Sunday. Why? Right? Why? Sleep in, Paul. Anyway, and I was done by 8:05, and I had 3,461 words. So I hit the word count. I started a new chapter. I finished an old chapter, started a new one today, always stopping at that good point, right? So you can pick right back up the next day. That's the whole objective behind that. And it works like a charm. And the novel is at 82,861 words. So we're 7,700 and change away from hitting the 90,000. So that will happen by Tuesday at the latest. I don't think I'm going to have a 7,700 word day tomorrow. I highly doubt it. I wanted to, because it would be really neat to say, hey, I wrote a 90,000 word novel in 2 weeks. That would be awesome. It's not going to happen. I don't foresee that, and I'm okay with that, because now that just gives me a new target to aim for in the next book. This one was a little slower today because, again, I just don't feel good. I'm just exhausted, and it's a breather chapter, and it had a ton of new periphery characters. So I was juggling about 8 different personalities I just don't know that well in first draft, right? I'll make sure I fix everything in the editing, but in first draft, I just didn't know them that well. And I don't spend time in first draft getting down into the particulars of their personality, their favorite colors, their favorite foods, their speech tendencies. That all happens in editing. And it's like I said on the podcast, just tell the damn story, get the story out. Then all the magic can happen in the editing process. So I'm going to table all of that, and I'm just going to look forward to the enjoyment of the fact that I'm going to hit the 90,000 word mark this week, definitely. Tuesday, unless I die, Tuesday at the latest, right? So by day 15 of this challenge, I'll have written a 90,000 word novel. This book will not be 90,000 words. I'm in chapter 14 of an anticipated 20 chapter book. So again, as I've been saying all along, once I started going with it, and remember, I changed my outlining process this time. You can go back all the way to video number 1 and see what's been done differently. So I'm learning as I go what that new outlining process does to my writing, which gets me excited for my epic fantasy future when I start getting into those much bigger stories, bigger worlds, because wow, this process of outlining has really changed what I see in the stories, in those layers I talked about in day, I don't know, they're all running together, 8 or 9 or whatever it was. Brandon Sanderson's theory of complexity, right? Where you have full storylines that make up a single novel. You should have a lot of meat there. Whether you're going for a 200,000 word book doorstop or, a 60,000 word tight, quick paced action book, it doesn't matter. Still have that complexity. So I'm going to take joy in that. The tip that I do want to share for those of you who haven't thought about it in a while, or those of you who haven't released a book yet and you're working on your series or you're working on stuff to release in the relatively near future, because I don't ever want to look out too far because things change so quickly. But this week on Thursday, I released my fourth book in the Zodiac series. Cancer's Curse comes out. So I need to, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm going to be obligating myself to making sure all the administrative stuff with a new release is there. I suck at releases. Admittedly, I am horrible. My mind is already on the next product I need to be creating because my releases aren't that strong. Back ass thinking, right? If I had focused more on my releases, maybe they would be strong enough that I wouldn't have to worry about creating more and more and more. That's something I'm going to work on now that I'm spacing the books out a little more than I did before. So, in your own writing goals, my tip would be to keep those considerations in mind, depending on trade or indie. If you're going to go indie and leverage the rapid release strategy, how far in advance you want to uh, schedule those and write how many of those you want to write out, and then all the administrative stuff that goes along with each writing. That's going to, in the business cycle, it's going to impact your writing time. Ideally, I would have had all the launch stuff ready a month ago, 2 months ago, and just had it scheduled. There's enough tools online now that I can do it. I've got no excuse. It's my own fault. It's my own failing. So, another learning curve. I keep saying this, and I do incrementally get more and more serious about the business side, but I have got to get more serious about the business side and doing those things that just are not fun for me. It's not fun to schedule social media posts. It's not fun to build ads. It's not fun to figure out what in the world works on Facebook. These things are not fun for me. What is fun is throwing Zeke into a mess and having him try to come out of it and creating worlds and characters and setting. That stuff's fun. All that other stuff isn't, but I want to do this forever and ever and ever. And I want to do it for a living. So those are the things I have to do. Recognizing that this was a good example for me to remind myself, hey, you know, you've got to take writing time away from this book five to do those things you should have done before even starting book five, dummy. So that's me. That's how Paul talks to himself. I'm not asking you to talk to yourself like that. It might not be healthy for you. For me, it's the kick in the shins that I need to wake up and realize where my shortfallings are and what I need to do to fix those. So that's where we're at. I will let you know about what happens tomorrow in tomorrow's video, obviously. I'm not even going to hazard a guess at the word count. I don't want to. It's almost 9 o'clock in the morning now. I've got a long day. I actually get to go socialize with another author today, science fiction writer Blaze Ward. I'm going to actually go meet him. So that's really cool. I'm really looking forward to that. And I'm going to see how today goes, and then I'll reevaluate. Tomorrow will be a bigger word count day than today. I just don't know how much bigger because I have this internal competition clock in my head, and I'm really worried that I'm going to say 5,000 words, and then I'm going to realize that 5,000 words puts me at almost 88,000, and I'll think, well, gee, that's only 2,000 more words, and I can knock that out in 45 minutes of seriously concentrating, half an hour of seriously concentrating. So we'll see what I do to myself tomorrow. That being said, I hope you all have an epic Sunday. Thanks for joining me. Subscribe, join us on the Facebook reading group page, join us in the Horrible Writing Facebook group. Come say hi. All right, you all have an epic day.